how's it going? I'm Sean and this is Indigenous Patriot. Thank you for joining me. Today's discussion is going to be about two different articles. The first one's going to deal with the sexual harassment allegations that have been leveled against New York's Governor Cuomo. I'm going to give a short opinion on that as well as accountability. The second one is going to be about a bipartisan effort to limit the war powers that the president and the executive branch have in regards to, performing strikes without consulting Congress. So if you're interested in these topics, please remember to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button. That helps me out a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Let's get started. In regards to the issues that are currently happening with Governor Cuomo of New York, we've been told that there are now three, as of this recording, 3 aides who have come out and said that he's been inappropriate with them, whether that is verbally putting his hands on them or what have you. Now, he says that it's playful banter, and maybe if this was 1950, I could see that kind of perspective, because back then we didn't really respect women in the workplace. We were a little bit Neanderthalic in that type of view. But it's my opinion that when you are there for a job, you're there for the job. You shouldn't have to feel as though people are going to be able to be inappropriate with you and you should just put up with it. I don't think that that is in any way a work environment that women or men or whatever have to deal with. It should just be for professionalism. Now, I'm not saying that Governor Cuomo did the things that he's accused of. That's why we should have an investigation. Currently, we're in a society where this new scandal pops up and we want to just jump out and start attacking, and that is common on both sides of the partisan divide. Instead, we should take measured approaches to look into the veracity of the claims, and should they prove to be something that needs investigation further and then action, we should act appropriately. It doesn't matter if you have an R next to your name or a D next to your name. Inappropriateness is inappropriateness. And if you feel like sexual harassment is something that is appropriate to do in the workplace, then I don't agree with you. I think that is an immature way of viewing things. I think that we should be less hostile and more productive. Take this for example. If an individual feels as though every time they show up to work, there's going to be some creepy guy leering at them and making comments, and they feel like they have no recourse but to either deal with it or be out of a job, think of the lack of comfort that provides that individual. Think about the lack of productivity that they're going to have, because their minds are going to be so full of this hostile environment that they're not going to be able to do what they're there for. Just stick to professionalism, okay? Do what you need to do to get the job done, and lay off of the sexual harassment. Again, I'm not saying that Governor Cuomo harassed anybody. I'm just saying that we need to investigate and hold him accountable if he did. That's all. According to The Hill, a bipartisan group of senators has brought about a bill that is designed to curtail the war powers of the president. And I'm going to read a little bit of what the article says, and I'm going to give my perspective on an overall basis, not actually regarding this particular president, but how I feel overall about the executive branch and their ability to bypass Congress in order to, do strikes and things. So here we go. The bill, spearheaded by Senators Tim Kaine, who's a Democrat of Virginia, and Todd Young, who's a Republican of Indiana, would repeal the 1991 and 2002 authorizations for the use of military force, which is AUMF. They both deal with Iraq. The bill comes as lawmakers have voiced frustration about a lack of consultation with Congress over the United States strikes last week with Syria, marking the first known military action ordered by Biden. Here's a quote by Kane. Last week's airstrikes in Syria show that the executive branch, regardless of party, will continue to stretch its war powers. I call on Congress to promptly take up this measure and for the Biden administration to support it, to finally show the American people that the Article 1 and Article 2 branches can work together on these issues. Young added that Congress has been operating on autopilot when it comes to authorizing military force. Congress must not shy away from this debate, and I look forward to working with my colleagues on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to advance this important legislation. In addition to Kane and Young, Senators Tammy Duckworth, who's Democrat from Illinois, Mike Lee, who's a Republican from Utah, Chris Coons, who's the Delaware Democrat, Chuck Grassley, who's a Republican from Iowa, Dick Durbin, who's a Democrat from Illinois, and Rand Paul, who's a Republican from Kentucky, are backing the bill. So I believe that the direct representations of the people are our representatives and our senators. And to me, in my particular opinion, they are the ones that I back the most because they represent their constituencies directly. I believe that the executive branch is designed to execute the legislation that is put out by Congress. Congress has the power to fund these wars or these strikes because they have the power of the purse. I don't believe in the unilateral executive theory that states that the president is basically, head of the executive branch and can basically do whatever they want. Now, obviously, the president is the head of the executive branch, but the unilateral theory kind of posits that they are the end-all, be-all of the executive branch, okay? I feel like consultation should be a bigger thing. They said that it was like 15 minutes worth of notice that they were given before the strike was done to Syria. Now, mind you, this particular segment, I'm not giving my opinions on the appropriateness of the strike. I'm just talking about the idea that the president should have some consultation with the people that are funding these particular actions, which happens to be Congress. So yes, I think that, first of all, I think that they should make clear their bill and talk about it to the people in regular jargon, instead of us having to open up the bill and read all the whereas and therefores. Okay, it gets a little bit confusing. But in the end, I feel like maybe there should be checks and balances on these types of things, okay? I understand the idea of limited government, but these are our direct representatives. They represent the people. Their actual elections are dependent upon keeping their constituents happy, so I feel like, they should be consulted. And there we have it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you have any suggestions for future videos, if you know anybody that'd like to be interviewed for a future video, down in the comment section below, or you can find me at WIKWEKO on Twitter. I am Indigenous Patriot on all social media. I mean, like, not all social media, but all the big ones. In any case, Lepichka Nawe, I will see you again.